are you really from? Well, okay, but where are you really from? Like, actually from? No, I mean like, where are your parents from? Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome and welcome back to my channel. My name is Hebah and this is Hebah's Rollercoaster. Before clicking on this video, I'm sure you read the title. So is it racist to ask people where they are from? I'm gonna give you my honest opinion, yes and no. The answer is yes and no because there is no clear answer to that question. There are certain things that may influence how and if that question can be or is racist, and I will try to talk about a few of these things in today's video. Be aware that everything that I say in this video is based on my own personal opinions and my own personal experiences. Having said that, let's get into it. Context is everything. How a person feels about being asked where they are from highly depends on the context and the situation in which they are at. For example, if you've just been introduced to somebody at a social gathering, social event, and the very first question that you ask is where they are from, then yes, this can be received as a very racist question. Why? Because it implies that the only thing that you perceived of that person, the only first impression that you have, is based on their race and is linked to their race. So the only thing that you seem to be interested in right now is not the person in front of you, it's not their character, it's not their personality, but it's their race. And that can be highly problematic, especially if the person does look kind of different compared to everyone else. If the person has a different color of skin or dresses differently, then this can be very problematic and this can be received as a racist question. Especially because you didn't make the effort to try and make that person feel, well, like a person. So you didn't really show any interest in who they are, what they like. You can even ask them how they are, if they like the event that you two are at, or if you have a mutual friend, you can ask them how they met, things like that. But asking right away where that person is from implies that you are not interested in them as a person, as a human being. You're only interested in their ethnicity, their race, etc. So it's absolutely normal to be curious, but make sure that that's not the first thing that you ask someone, because this can be received as something very racist. But then again, we said context is everything, and there are certain contexts in which it can be okay to ask a person right away or at the beginning of a conversation where they are from. Let me give you an example from my own personal experience to try and explain to you what I mean. So, for example, when I went on my exchange semester abroad, the host university organized an event for all of the new students, for all of the international students. So obviously, we all knew that we were students from abroad, that we came there as exchange students, as international students, and we knew that we were all from different places all around the world. And so obviously, it was really interesting for all of us to find out where everybody was from. So we did ask one another where we were from, which universities we came from, because it was interesting for all of us to find out which universities and which countries were represented at this event. But again, be aware that this was a context that allowed for this question to not be racist, because number one, you did not put anybody specifically on the spot when you asked them where they were from. And number two, you could ask anybody at this event where they were from. So it created a sense of equality based on difference. We were all equal because we were all different and diverse. Get what I mean? I hope I'm making sense here. Are you focusing on the difference? Talking about differences. When you ask someone where they are from, the reason why this can be very problematic is that through that question, you might be emphasizing the fact that that person is different in a way. So because you see a certain difference, you feel like that person must come from a different place as well, from an exotic place maybe even, which is also very problematic. When you find yourself in a situation that is not like the one that I explained before, but in a situation where race and ethnicity and where people are from is not the central topic and not the central theme, don't make it that. Because if you're not in a context where you could ask everyone, like the situation that I explained before, but if you try to focus that question on one specific person, on one specific group, you're actually giving off a message that that person sticks out to you in a way. So that's why you feel like you need to ask them where they are from. So because a person sticks out to you, you ask them specifically and only them. And that is the problem. So if you ask me, is that question racist in that situation? Yes, it is, because in that situation, you saw something in another person that seems different to you. It might be their color of skin, it might be the way they're dressed, or the way they speak, if they have an accent, etc. So you see something that's kind of different to you, and based on your perception of that person, based on your idea that this person is different, you feel the need to ask them where they are from, to kind of emphasize even more that they are indeed different from you. So according to your own image, idea, perception, that person does not conform to the norm. And that's why you feel like you have to ask them where they are from. And in this way, you're emphasizing the fact that they are indeed different from everybody else in that gathering, in that setting, in that situation. So even if it's not your conscious intention, what you're doing is you're focusing all of the attention on the difference. You're focusing all of the attention on what makes that person stick out compared to everybody else. By asking only them where they are from, but not everybody else, you're giving them a feeling of being an outcast and not really fitting in. Needless to say that it is discriminatory and racist to try and make somebody else feel that they do not fit in or that they are too different from everybody else. So in a situation like that, just don't ask where somebody is from. Even if you are interested to find out, just don't ask. Where are you really from? So, this one is a really important one. It's a really big deal to me personally as well, so I'm gonna try and explain it in the best way possible. If you guys take away anything from this video, I hope that it is what I'm about to say right now. So let's say you are in a situation where you feel like it is okay to ask the person in front of you where they are from. Let's say you are in a situation like the one that I explained before, where there are people from all around the world, from different places, and it is acceptable to ask one another where everybody is from. So you ask a person and they give you an answer. So far, so good, right? Do not, and I hope you hear me, do not repeat that question again. After you have received your answer, do not repeat that question again. There are no follow-up questions that imply that you do not accept that person's answer. So if you ask somebody where they are from and they tell you that they are from planet Mars, you have to accept it. Okay, maybe not necessarily that answer, but when you ask somebody and they name you a place on planet Earth, please accept their answer. Even if it's an answer that you hadn't expected. Acknowledge it, accept it, respect it. Again, I want to remind you of my story about the welcome event at the host university as an exchange student. So we were asking one another where we were from, which was totally fine and not racist at all. But when somebody asked me where I was from, I said that I'm from Austria, from the University of Vienna, because in that context, I felt like that was the only important answer that I'm gonna give. I did not want to give any more context. But I do realize that for some people, I look, and that's not a secret, I look North African, I look Middle Eastern, I'm visibly Muslim. So obviously I can imagine that for some people they were expecting another answer. They were not expecting me to be from Central Europe, but from somewhere else. However, they asked me, where are you from? And I said, from Austria, from the University of Vienna. And that's the key part in all of this, you could detect whether or not somebody was racist or not if they just accepted my answer or not. In a situation like this, it is highly racist to ask somebody something like this. Where are you really from? Well, okay, but where are you really from? Like, actually from? No, I mean, like, where are your parents from? Okay, but where are you, like, really from? Like, really, like, actually from? But your roots must be somewhere else, right? Like, you must be from somewhere else. I mean, it's obvious. Again, these questions are racist because they imply that according to you and your idea and your perception, the answer that you received is not acceptable. So you do not want to accept the answer because based on your idea, the answer should be different. And that is racist because then you are labeling another human being. You're trying to give them an identity that fits your own perception and your own idea, but you are not acknowledging the way they want to identify themselves. You feel like somebody who looks a certain way, who dresses a certain way, who speaks in a certain way, cannot define themselves as coming from a certain place. So that's why you are asking, where are you really from? You're putting a label on that person, and frankly speaking, that makes you racist. Bottom line is, if you ask somebody where they're from, accept their answer and move on. If you want to ask follow-up questions that fit their answer. So if they tell you that they are from a certain place, ask them about that place. Do not ask them where they are really or actually from. What do you guys think? Do you agree with me, or have you had experiences with that question as well? Have you witnessed a situation in which people were only focusing on where somebody was from, or in which a person did not accept the answer to that question? I'd feel honored if you guys shared your experiences with me in the comments below, and maybe that way I can get some new insights as well. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and tell your friends about this channel. Also, you can go follow me on Instagram. Other than that, I'm gonna see you next Monday with another video. Take care and Assalamu alaikum.